Hello everyone, welcome to the Oregon Trail-sized bandwagon that has been shitting on Ahsoka for the past 4 weeks on YouTube. Now personally, if you're someone who's able to sit down and watch Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka and just enjoy the content for what it is without complaining, then I envy you. Don't get me wrong, I love Dave Filoni and all he's done for the Star Wars community, making the masterpiece that is both Clone Wars and Rebels, as well as all of the other works that he's done throughout the years, which includes, I'm not sure if you remember, Avatar: Last Airbender, the animated series, which so happens to be having a similar issue with its property that we're seeing right now through Ahsoka and Rebels. Now, besides the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is still an executive producer for this project, the other issue that I have, and many other fans have, is that there's for some reason 6 other directors on this fucking show. Now, for those who don't know why there might be more than 1 or 2, maybe even 3 directors on a show, luckily for you, I'm going to explain this while giving a visual demonstration in Microsoft Paint. To put it simply, it's for efficiency purposes. When director number 1 for recording episode 1 is in that recording process with his actresses and actors, director number 2 for episode number 2 is in the process of pre-production, which is doing stuff like finding locations or doing stuff with props and so on. And after that, director number 1 is currently in the post-production phase of episode number 1, which is just doing stuff like editing. And while he's doing this, episode 2 is then filming and recording actresses and actors on set for their episode. And this cycle just continues. It seems like a great way to save time and also to get shows out a lot faster than they would if the show only had maybe 1 or 2 directors. You might be wondering, hey, why do you have an issue with this if we're going to be getting content from Disney sooner rather than later? And my answer is, well, too many fucking cooks in the kitchen. It's clear that whatever Disney's been trying to do for the last 4 years hasn't been working. Starting from left to right, we got Children of Blood and Bone, which was canceled due to creative differences between the author of the book and Disney. I'll give them credit where credit is due. Visions episode 1 was very cool, but afterwards, audience did not agree with it. It was even good enough to get a season 2, but not good enough to change that average audience score. Now on to the very respectable Mandalorian. The first season being as action-packed and fun as it was, it satisfied Star Wars fans and new fans with that niche of new creativity and old Western shooter. Now, what happened in season 2 is quite interesting because people working on the project were able to do what Disney hasn't done in so many years. And I can speak personally when I say that I was taken back by the last episode in the season where Luke shows up and just completely makes the scene what it is. A large throb in the once was beating heart of Disney. After the end of season 2, it's very understandable that season 3 just could not live up to the hype that they had created, and that leads us to Lando, which so far hasn't been canceled, but depending on how the show Ahsoka goes, could determine that. As it comes to Star Wars: A Droid Story, it seems that we know even less about this project. Majority of people thinking that it's going to be based around C-3PO and R2-D2 on their own one-off movie. Rogue Squadron has been confirmed as canceled as far as I'm aware. One of the key details being because the actress who played in Mandalorian, Gina Carano, made a tweet comparing the lives of the Jews during the Nazi regime in Germany to the lives of conservatives in America today. While I don't like entertainers using their spotlight to spread around their views on politics, I much less prefer Disney producers encouraging and promoting the killing of children via wood chipper if they support a certain political party. That's totally fine because he apologized in this tweet. Let's get back on topic now with Ahsoka, which so far has been pretty disappointing. I would say it still has potential to be a half-decent show, but will mostly be remembered for the first 4 episodes of nothing happening. Mostly what I see when I'm watching Ahsoka, at least for now, is the potential that is there. With hardcore fans disappointed with things like acting and the reoccurring error that is the lightsaber gut shot. That, as well as the viewing material required to just be well read up on this show, which I don't even have. And I have watched the 6 hours and 24 minutes of the original trilogy, the 7 hours and 1 minute of the prequels, the 1 hour and 38 minutes of the Clone Wars movie, the 385 minutes or 64 combined hours of the Clone Wars show, the 37 hours and 30 minutes of Rebels, 16 hours and 39 minutes of Mandalorian, the 5 hours and 30 minutes Book of Boba, 1 hour and 33 minutes of Tales of the Jedi, as well as experience of playing the Force Unleashed games for the possibility of a Sam Witwer cameo. That, as well as Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, just so I can know more about Night Sisters. I don't think there's anything else I can add to this show until I watch the rest of it, so we'll move on. Moving on to Star Wars Rangers of the Republic, it seemingly has been canceled and replaced with Skeleton Crew, which isn't going to be coming out until later in 2024. And now we're at the sad success story of Andor. I say sad because I've heard great things about this show, but much like most of the other fans of Star Wars, I have not watched it. It's extra sad because all of the hate they received from this was because the fans were angry after watching the new trilogy, and this is one of the few projects that came shortly after it. Willow isn't canon in the Disney franchise unless it is April 1st, but it was released on November 30th of 2022, but was then removed from Disney Plus only 6 months after release due to the stellar audience score that it received. I mean, we all know that Disney's been fabricating false audience scores as well as fabricated inflated viewer counts. Whether or not this is to retain confidence in investors or to gaslight all the people who have been working hard on these projects is hard to say. Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually a good show, is what I would say if they didn't have glorified 10-year-old chase scenes with a little girl who CGI slides down little hills. I mean, there were good parts in the show, but that doesn't make it a good show, especially not when the name of the show is after Obi-Wan, and we're spending half of the 6 episodes that we have looking at Leia and the character relationship between her and her droid. That and a villain that nobody asked for, Reva, who survives a double gut punch from a lightsaber. Well, I guess we know why Darth Vader chokes everyone out from now on. Lightsaber wounds officially have a lower mortality rate than Zoomer moms do with their infants in their hot cars. Yes, I'm a horrible person. Now, there were rumors that Star Wars Acolyte was going to be canceled. Those rumors originated when Leslie Headland disrespected George Lucas in a clip that we'll play right now. I'm sure this show will be incredible. Now, I loved when the Bad Batch showed up in Clone Wars, but when I started watching the show, even after I was done with an episode, I started hearing D. Bradley Baker's voice in my head, and then I got worried. I'm also a little bit disappointed that he did not try to become the voice actress for Omega, but we all can't have what we want. So with 1/4 of their production being actually decent, another quarter of them being either canceled or soon to be canceled, and then half of them sucking, so much so that they have to be actually removed from their own platform. And I haven't even brought up the fact yet that they're charging their patrons more now while taking down more of their content just so that they can take it off in sales cuts. Well, either way, thank you for listening, and please like and subscribe if you wish that Disney would stop messing with their childhood. And this has been a sad review.